What's
Okay.
up, Jeff?
Yo, Victor, what up? What up? What up? What up?
What up? How's it going?
How's life, man?
Good, good. I work on this week is my fourth week in my internship, so that's pretty cool.
Dope. Dope. Okay.
Yeah, full
So,
stack.
look, so we're gonna start it like this. First of all, we know your name is Victor. Um,
Yep.
where exactly you from? Like what state, what city?
I'm from Puerto Rico, but I live in Orlando, Florida.
Hey, Puerto Rico.
That's what's up.
Yeah, nah, that's what's up. Um, yeah, it's popping. How's the scene over there in Orlando so far?
It's cool. I go to UCF, so a bunch of college stuff to do.
Okay, cool, 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 cool. So you're telling me you got an internship now?
Yeah, yeah. I started teaching myself in Udemy, and then like one week I went on Google just to see what the job market was out like. And I saw this like internship like position where like I read through their thing and mostly they were like looking for the individual. They weren't really looking for like their knowledge. So I was like, they were like, oh, write a cover letter and tell us about yourself. And I was like, I can do that. So like I did it. And then I went on the interview. They offered me an interview like at 3 hours after I sent my cover letter. And I was like, well, I'll go see what it's like, see what they ask me. And I'm not really expecting to get it, but at least the interview would be like a good opportunity. And I went, and like 2 weeks later, they were like, "Yeah, you're hired." And I was like, "Oh shit."
Wow. Wow. I mean, people, you hear that? Sometimes people think like, man, it's so hard to get in the industry, get that first opportunity. And it's like, bro, that's because you never even tried. You never even sent an email. You never even gave you a chance to even go out there and say, hey, man, I want to become a developer, right? So if you don't take the first step, it's like nobody can hold your hand and bring you into the industry. You know what I'm saying? It's like even like back in the days when people will tell you, hey, man, there's no jobs out here. And it's like, when was the last time you applied? You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
you
And I
know,
want to point out, I didn't lie on my resume or anything. I didn't say I was a pro when I'm actually not. I told them, like, I think, and they told me, like, after like 2 weeks, they told me what helped me was that I went on the interview. I didn't lie to them. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm very passionate about this. And I, like, brought out, like, my notebook on, like, all the notes I've been writing down from my courses. And I let them know where I was at. And they were like, what we liked about you was the potential that we saw in you because we see that you're actively, like, working towards this. So I was like, yeah. And like the first few like weeks has all been like straight up like bootstrap stuff. So but this week we're gonna start working with MySQL, PHP, all that good stuff.
yeah, no, that's cool, man. I think like, you know, like I said, people just gotta go out there and the opportunities are there, man. If you want it, you're gonna get it. You get what I'm saying? So what exactly do you do now? I mean, what type of industry is it that your company is in?
Well, it's a small startup company, but well, I wouldn't really call it small because like our biggest clients like the New England Patriots. So
Wow.
we work with a lot of sports and psychology stuff. We use psychology. Our CTO is like really big on psychology, so we use a lot of psychology to develop the assessment test that the NFL players when they go like in during the draft they all take this test.
Hold on, give me one.
So
Yo, yo, what's up, you two? I'm gonna take Joe's place for here real quick.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear you now. What's up, dude?
yeah.
So,
Going back to your question, no, I don't even have a portfolio. Like I don't have projects. I
oh wow,
did I did Cold Steel's bootcamp all the way up to the Node.js part, and that's where I stopped because that's when I got hired with my job. And then my job told me I needed PHP and SQL. So I like Cold Steel doesn't have that in his. So I stopped that
oh,
and like my job pays for codeschool.com and I do that. But I like the Udemy style and I'm like I like Udemy better and they actually pay for like courses I want. So that's kind of cool.
yeah, that Cold Steel web developer bootcamp. If anybody's like struggling with HTML or CSS or JavaScript, that's probably the best course. Like even I knew a little bit of HTML before I took that course, but I took that course and that's pretty much what got me like on the road to web development. That Steel
Yeah.
course, yeah. So
I want to
definitely.
say like in the imposter syndrome really it's real. Like it hit hard like the first 2 days, and I was like, what did I get myself into? But
Oh,
it
yeah.
also helps that I'm not the only intern. There's 4 other guys, and we're all going through the same thing. So like for the first assignment, no one really knew what we were doing. But if like the one guy found out just like what this little code did, and I realized I had the same thing on my page, I'm like, oh, thanks for that. And then like if I found out something, then I would tell them. And then it's all teamwork. Teamwork's the best thing by far.
That's good. Sounds like you have a pretty good team there. You have a team of 4. How big is your team size? Would you say? I looked through Joe's back.
5 interns in total, and there's 4 full-time web developers. So
Okay, yeah. So what happened? Look, my fault, guys. I don't know if
My bad,
something happened.
Joe.
A plane crash or literally like some crazy thing happened where the house shook and there was like a huge explosion, or like I don't know what the hell happened. I'll tell you guys tomorrow when we find out in the news. Next time on CodingPhase. All right.
So I'm out of here. You guys.
all right,
I'm sorry, dude.
have a good one.
Nah, it's cool, man. I mean,
Shit.
you already in here, so
I'll just show you. Fuck it, man. It's
he said, "Fuck yeah, I'm getting in here." But yeah, no, that's good. So, I mean, what you guys were talking about, fill me in, so like that. I know exactly.
Victor, I just asked him how big his team was at work. I had a question. How did you get an internship? When you spoke to the employer, the team, was it a 3-month contract? Was it 6 months? Was it 12 months? How long was the duration of the offer?
The duration right now is 6 months. So my last day would be August 31st if they don't decide to like extend me. But basically, I just went on Google, like I said, found the post. I applied, and funny enough, like they wanted a cool like cover letter. Basically, the company works with sports, so like I'm really passionate about sports, as you can see. Like I'm all about sports. So like I wrote my cover letter sharing like experiences in the past. Like for example, like I told them I related how I taught myself how to play hockey, ice hockey in like 2 months to my ability to learn code the same way. I was like, this is what I did when I really wanted to play hockey, and now I play hockey every Sunday night. And this is how I could like bring the same kind of focus and motivation to coding and do the same for this job, you know? And then, but basically for the interview, they asked me 3 questions, like 3 live questions. It wasn't any whiteboard stuff. It was on the online ID, like Shift Edit. And so they asked me, first thing was like very simple. Like I was really surprised. I was like scared. I was like, I'm not gonna get any questions right. And I went in there and the first question is, hey, can you do this table and format it? And I was like, are you kidding me? Like T head, T body, TR. Like I was like, I got this. Second question. What's the second question? I know they had the fizz buzz loop question on JavaScript, which was like if print all numbers like 1 through 100. If it's even, print fizz. If it's odd, print buzz. All that stuff. It was pretty easy. And then the third one was like PHP stuff, and that one I didn't really do it well because I hadn't even seen PHP before I went to the end. But then the whole interview transitioned to like again me showing them like all my notes on the notebook. They liked that a lot, and
you took notes in the interview?
No, I did not. I brought the notes of all the Udemy courses stuff that I was like taking. Like if I saw a video on like loops, JavaScript, I wrote down every single example and like everything, and like I had a bunch of like core stuff.
Nah, that's smart. That's definitely smart.
And then what they also liked was that I went on their website and I drew mock-ups of things I would change on their website, kind of like ideas. Because on my cover letter, I told them I was more like front-end visual oriented kind of guy. Like, I like a whole bunch of like art stuff. So I actually like drew up like mock-ups of like how I would do the page different. And they all like laughed or like they all smiled and looked at each other, and they pulled up the website they were actually like working on, and like what I drew up they were already doing it. So like
nice.
They were like, so yeah, you have good ideas in the meeting. And I was like,
you came prepared.
It was cool. Yeah, I went prepared. I
I
I lacked knowledge, but I showed them how I could overcome that.
Yeah.
So what exactly? I mean, you're going to school right now. What exactly is your background? I mean, what you studying right now?
I'm in IT. I'm about to graduate in May.
The
So,
BA, associates, which one?
just bachelor's. Yeah,
Okay, nice.
4 years.
That's cool. That's cool. And so what makes you want to jump into web development? I mean, there's a lot of other fields that you could have tried.
Yeah. I don't really. I study IT just because, like, you can't go wrong with a computer. I kind of shied away from computer science just because I didn't want to do the math.
Mhm.
Uh, it sounds kind of dumb now that I think about it. I should have just done it. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I didn't want to
you're,
do the math. But
you're basically saying my story. I mean, that's the main reason why I didn't want to do computer science. I got to calculus two, and then I said, okay, cool.
that's exactly where I stopped.
I got a
I
B
got
minus. I
to.
say, okay, that's good enough for me. I'll give myself a clap in the back, and I don't need to be doing this. So, yeah, but even at that, man, the degree that you already have, you're good. You know, nobody anything that's technical, IT, is always gonna look good on your resume. Um,
Yeah,
and then on top of that, plus the online training and the fact that you already have, determination to be in the industry, like you're gonna be fine. So you
yeah.
now,
I've been doing your courses, Joe. Well, some. I did the HTML, CSS, Facebook mockup one. That one really helped with like all the front end stuff. I understand what flex boxes are now because I encountered that problem on like my job. I'm like, oh, this is what clear fix is. Like I didn't even know what overflow was.
yeah,
Now I know.
yeah, no, that's the thing where it's like I tell people all the time, like, hey man, there's certain things that you need to know from like just the core CSS. There's a lot of good things that are popping up nowadays in features that are gonna come out in the future. Like
Yeah,
CSS grid, flex boxes, but you still gotta master what CSS is because you never know what company you're gonna go to. If you go in and say, I'm only studying the most modern and the latest features in CSS. And then the day you go to a company where they have some legacy code and they're not using CSS grid or they're using something like Bootstrap and you don't understand how regular CSS works, then you're gonna be like, now I gotta go on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You should have been
And
prepared.
actually, my job doesn't even. They try to use as less of like custom CSS as possible. They try to stick with all the Bootstrap stuff. And if you have to change, like add a little bit of padding or margin, then you can do that in line. That's how they want you to do it. But like you said all the time, like each company does their own thing, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Everywhere you're gonna go to, right? Everybody has their own workflow, right? There's people that were there before you, and they say, "Hey, this works for us. We don't need to change it." You get what I'm saying? Even though there's more modern ways of doing things, there's SCSS, there's you could use less post CSS, whatever people are using online, and say, "Hey, this is the latest thing." And it's like when you go to the company, they're gonna train you on how they do it, no matter
Yeah,
what.
my company doesn't even use frameworks. Like we
Yeah.
don't use frameworks at all.
Yeah, a lot of companies don't use frameworks. Is something that's cool. And it's like, okay, it's for your own knowledge of like, okay, if I bump into a company that does use this framework or the next job that I go to, they want me to use Angular or React, then I know it. But there's a lot of companies that just don't need it. Even at that, like you might go to a company that just uses WordPress and they don't even want you to go and develop a website from scratch. They're like, hey man, just use this theme that we already have and just customize it a little bit and that's it. So definitely everybody has their own different workflow.
Would
Now,
you say that the majority of jobs are like that, or would you say majority of jobs use frameworks in the industry, web development specifically?
that what? Tell me again. I couldn't hear you.
Do most of the jobs use frameworks nowadays, or do most of the jobs just use like WordPress, CMS type stuff?
Well, most of the jobs, depending on the company and depending on the industry, right? Depending on the industry that you're in. If you're in a company where they do e-commerce, then they do everything from scratch. So they might use something like Laravel, and they might say, "Hey, we're gonna use React and Angular as the frameworks or whatever they want to use." Right now, if you're in a company where, like, let's say when I used to work for Creative Circle, right? We did some work for Universal Music Group, right? Universal Music Group, all their websites are done in WordPress. You would think like, oh my God, TaylorSwift.com is like they do that with WordPress. You know, it's like those
That makes
websites,
sense.
what they care about is like, hey, we want to release a website. We want to be able to show the tour dates and this and that, like simple things. There's no real like logic behind it. It's more like the presentation and being able to give access to people who are not technical access to the website. So that's why WordPress is so popular for people that don't know how to code. It's like, okay, everything's there for me. All I have to do is just add things in there. Like there's a title, there's the content area. I could upload my images, and now the developer already set up the theme that when I upload it, it puts the images down here. So a content editor doesn't have to know anything in HTML.
Exactly.
So that's why
Yeah, my job actually has one like that. He's a sports journalist. He writes like articles for our page, and he does it all in WordPress. But he doesn't do what us like full
yeah,
stack people do. Like he's in his own little corner, just like typing away his articles. Like
yeah, content editors. When you're a content editor, uh, uh, you know, for people who is out there and looking at this video, if you're coming with a English major, and you say, man, now I want to become a WordPress developer, or I want to become a developer, quote unquote, a very easy way to get into the industry is to become a content editor, right? And literally grow within that company. Like you could work on companies that are huge out there, and you would be like, man, how do I get a job at Nike? It's like, hey, you got an English major, right? And then from there, you want to do web development, apply for content editor, right? You're going to get in the industry, get in the company, and then from there, you can switch up on the teams and say, hey, I actually know how to code. Now you switch up. You get what I'm saying? You got to know how to play the game. But,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
think also WordPress is also good for situations where, let's say you have to make a website for someone, but you don't want to always be there to change like, one word or change a picture.
Mhm.
So you hook them up with a WordPress site and then you say, hey, here's how you log into it. If you want to change things around, it's all good. But
Yeah,
I think that's more where WordPress
yeah, exactly.
shines.
So as far as like now your career, you see yourself focusing on front end, focusing on the back end. What do
yeah, I
you?
definitely want to focus on front end more.
Okay.
Front end. Our first assignment that they gave us, like our first real assignments were like the first three assignments where they gave us like old pages and they told us convert it to the new Bootstrap. That was pretty much it. But the second assignment, the real first assignment that they gave us was we had to design this email builder template that the admins use. So
Hey
let's
Joe,
say they
when
want to
you're being
create.
ghetto looking out the window.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking out the window because literally like mad fire departments coming through now. So I'm making sure like my house don't go on fire or some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's all good.
Got my kid here, man. You know. Sorry. So
No, so yeah, like I was saying, like our first assignment was basically they gave us this page that the admins use to create the new emails that they want to send out to, like, let's say someone subscribed, it'd be like welcome to the right profile and inserts the name of whoever subscribed, like build a template for emails.
Mhm.
Also, they want text messaging in that too. So they told each of us interns like, oh, come in on Tuesday with like 5 to 10 mock-ups of like how would you like design the front end, like draw it out, like come out with ideas. So we all pitched our ideas in the meetings, and I like out of my 5 ideas, they picked the one that everybody considered the top one, and they did the same thing for each other intern. And then they were like, okay, now you have a week to go code the front end for it. And then we had that week and we presented that, and now we're waiting to see which intern kind of like won. There's no winning, it's just that whoever has the best front looking page, that's the one we're all going to go in and start building the back end stuff for that page. So we're actually building a real page that's going to be used later on. But that's pretty exciting. But out of all the interns, they told me, they were like, yeah, you're definitely more like front end oriented. Because like there was this other guy that had all his buttons were working because he knows JavaScript just like that. Like it's easy for him. Mine looked like what I had different. Everybody did the same drop down thing, and I was like, nah. And I did like accordions and they had like different animations and stuff, and they were like, we like that. So I don't know if they're gonna pick mine. I'll find out tomorrow, I think, but I hope so.
Nah, that's
It's exciting.
that's great. I think that's something great that company is doing, because they really like, helping you guys out, and at the same time it's like letting you guys be yourself. How many developers are there, as far as like senior and mid-level developers?
Full time, they have 4, but our CTO and our head of development also code. So
There's like 5 developers.
yeah,
And
and
then,
they don't really like. They try to like. They don't go ahead and just give you the answer. They try to like guide you towards where you can find the answer. So it's not like, hey, I need to know this, and then they just give it to you. No, it's not like that. But
yeah, no,
they don't leave you like get lost anyways either. They guide you. It's nice.
no, that's cool. And as far as like, do you see yourself in that company long term? Do you like the people you're working with? I think that's very important to see if you like working with the people there.
Yeah, no, I love it. I I had a pizza job place up until today. Today was my last day. I
Nice.
was like, man, I don't need this anymore. Like
You-
they abuse you so much. Like it's crazy.
There's like, Victor, don't forget the salami.
Nah, more like, yeah, like if you like last night I was on the dish pit like doing dishes and I'm like, man, fuck this. Thank God it's my last time doing dishes. And
Oh, man.
they come they come in. I was supposed to be like from 5 to 10, and this other guy was supposed to come in at 10 p.m. and take over until like 3 a.m. or something like that. But then that guy never showed up, so I got stuck for like another extra hour and a half, just like busting my ass because they were like, "Oh, can you like leave this place a little bit cleaner before you leave?" And I was like, "Man, fuck this! I'm already working overtime here. You're not paying me
Slave
extra."
ship.
And then you have these fucking guys that think that Dish Pit is this magical place that you bring something and it just magically gets washed. And they're like, come in. They're like, yo, can I get this on the fly? Which basically means like, do it as priority. And I'm like, bro, don't you see like all this other shit I have to do? Like, you can wash it yourself. It takes like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care about you. They don't help.
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video that you're about to see now. Just make sure that you subscribe and click on the little bell, because that's the only way to get notifications. This video is brought to you by viewers like you and people that support our website, CodingPhase.com. Go check it out. Over 20 courses in there that's going to guide you to become a developer from the beginning to becoming a pro.